Welcome back to the Four Rings Inn for another episode of City of Shadows.
Hey.
Last session, we saw more of the haunting of Tyrvald Manor as Renshor got Sterling involved in his quest to discover what is keeping him up late at night. The next day, both Renshor and Sterling attended the funeral, and as part of the funeral for Viscount Thornstrum, the ceremony of bells, the last bell the Thornstrum house had produced. While at the same time, Oriana fought tooth and nail against a strange, disgusting, bookworm-like creature hidden away in the back of the library. But our highborns are still attending the funeral of Viscount Thornstrum and may have been roped into some plot of the other Viscount children, the Falkwains. And so I'll ask you now, are you ready for a scary story? We return to the funeral of Viscount Thornstrum as the procession of his casket begins. We shift into the crowd where we find Sterling and Renshor standing next to Sethin and Salor Falkwain, two twins of the Falkwain Viscountship, neither being chosen to be the next heir as of late. But they are both returned from Scrollspire and eager to get up to more mischief back in the city. Sterling, you had noticed that Sethin was casting some sort of spell, a hex, on somebody in the near vicinity. And at Salor's request, Renshor, they have asked you, just play along once the ceremony ends. As the two half-elves in their, not fur-lined coat, but almost feather-lined coat, finish the spell and await the ending of the ceremony, you watch Viscount Thornstrom's casket, a closed casket, proceeds down the street, away, back towards the Gallatin Mountains. And as the ceremony in this plaza concludes, and the people in your courtyard kind of begin to break away and disperse, you see Salor and Sethin motion the two of you to follow as they approach somebody that, Renshor, you have seen before. Can you make a history or gossip check? And actually, You can do this with advantage because you have met this person before.
Cool. Ooh, I am very historous. 18.
18, Histrus 18. You look to who they're approaching. You see Taran Sootsmith. Taran Sootsmith is the cousin of Count Stoneworth. And you had met him previously just a few, I guess it's really just a few days ago, but more like a couple weeks ago, when you were convinced at the Crossbows to duel for the Count's pleasure. He was at that table when you were discussing politics and all that fun, noble stuff. He was one of the people at that table.
Gambling man.
A gambling man, yes.
You said he's the cousin of Stoneworth?
He's a cousin of Stoneworth.
Okay.
Yep. and you see he and his wife Mary are both here, and Sethin and Sailor motion for the two of you to follow as they close in on their target. Do you follow behind them?
Absolutely. This guy's got
Perfect.
money.
I'll take the Viscount's arm and just in his head. Well, this could be fun.
Absolutely.
As the four of you move in on Taryn and Mary, Sethin greets Taryn. He goes, Lord Sootsmith, it's a pleasure to see you. Are you still up for your meeting with myself and Tyrvald today? And you see Taryn kind of gets an expression on his face. I meeting with... yes, Lord Sootsmith. Renshor, we've had this on the books for how long now?
At least a couple weeks.
At least, if not a month or more. As Taryn kind of looks bewildered, can I have you make a persuasion check, Renshor? And because Sterling, you recognize Sootsmith is hexed by Taryn, he's going to be making all these checks with disadvantage.
Perfect.
Does it have to be persuasion?
No. Actually, you could do deception. Yeah.
17.
It should be deception. Yeah.
We are lying.
We are lying. You see Taryn goes, my apologies. My courier must have misplaced my schedule. What time were you planning on meeting today? Sethin goes, my lord, I would not mean to intrude, but Renshor, an hour, 2 hours from now, acceptable for you?
Yes, we can move it to then. That's not a problem.
Yes, whatever's more convenient for you. We're not looking to intrude on your day if you made plans, but it is this opportunity would be most beneficial for all of us, and so if we could have this today, we'd greatly appreciate it. And you see Taryn goes, okay, yes. This meeting, is it regarding the account status? And you see Sethin goes, the account, no, that was completely resolved. Renshor and I, we have our business agreement, our business proposition that we'd like to run past you. Isn't that right, Renshor?
Yes, all the information in particular should be in the agenda that you've received a couple weeks ago.
Yes, you have gone through the agenda, haven't you, Lord Sootsmith? Give me another deception check.
I forget what that number is already. Dirty 20.
You see Sootsmith goes, yes, I've gone through the packet. I'll make sure to review it once more before our meeting starts. Sailor speaks up and goes, Sootsmith, you're going to love what my brother has in store. We'll be coming by the manor as soon as you're prepared. And he goes, excellent, thank you. And you see he grabs his wife's arm and they shuffle off quickly. And as soon as they're gone, Sethin and Sailor turn to you, Renshor. Excellent work. That was ideal. Now, we just have to capitalize on the seed we've planted. Come, meet us in the lobby over here, and we'll discuss the details. And they motion for you to follow them away from the crowd.
Is Sterling still on my arm?
Mm-hmm.
I will lead her over towards where they motion.
Perfect. The four of you kind of separate from the crowd, make your way through some of the halls of the guiding flame until Sailor finds a classroom that's currently not being occupied, and the four of you move into there briefly. And Sethlin goes, "Excellent work, Renshor. Could not have been done better. So, now what we need to do is we're going to go to Sootsmith's Manor, and we are going to convince him to get in on our newest business dealing. You see, our parents, they are on essentially the Pristine's board of directors for all of the not public school. What's our word for high school? Formal schools. All of the formal schools throughout the city, including Ravenwell Prep. Now, there is a unique opportunity that we have as all of these tragedies strike our city. People are leaving their occupations to be for mercenary work. They're looking to arm themselves and get hired by rich nobles like you and I. So, our idea, and he looks to his sister, we're going to start a academy for mercenaryship. We have everything we need. All we need is the... People won't come to just any old academy. What will really sell them, the real selling point, is the name behind it. Falkwain has some weight, but the cousin of a count, Sootsmith, his name would put us even farther. And if you would like, the Tyrvald name would even bolster that even farther if you would like to invest in on this as well.
I'm sorry. I thought we were scamming the Lord. It sounds like you just want an investor.
Oh, no, we are scamming the Lord. See, we're going to ask him for far more than what he needs to invest in this business. We have all the money that we need to invest in the business. Whatever he gives us, we're just going to split amongst the two of us and throw his name on the yes.
Classic.
He's
and
investing in us.
Head. Don't give them any money.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I think the Sootsmith Mercenary Academy sounds very nice. It's
Sootsmith
yes.
swords.
SMA.
SMA. You see, Salar looks at Renshor, looks at Sterling, and then goes, let's allow her to come up with the names, Lord Tyrvald, and she'll pat you on the shoulder.
Of course.
Yes. So all we have to do is get him to commit to investing in the school, and then we'll get the legalities to use his name in our advertisement, and then he'll invest money, hopefully on a regular basis, and whatever we need to use to improve the academy we'll use, and the rest we'll split 80-20.
80-20?
Yes, of course.
Well, if you would like the Tyrvald name assisting you in this, I believe something closer to 40-60 would be fair, would it not?
You see Sethlin and Salar look at each other. Either one of you can make a charisma check of your choice, or one can give the other advantage. Or you both make a roll, or one gives the other advantage.
Are you good at this?
For charisma and not persuasion, sure. I forgot I wasn't Eleanor.
You could do persuasion.
No,
it's up to you.
I don't want to do persuasion.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I could do charisma. I have a +2. What do you have?
I have a +6 to deception.
I don't think we're lying here.
I have a +4 to persuasion.
Well, then you ask John to roll persuasion, and I'll give you the help action.
Okay. John, can I roll persuasion with advantage?
Yeah, absolutely.
It didn't go very well. That's not a 2. Okay.
It's a 20.
There's another digit there.
The line under my 9 made it look like a 2.
Oh.
It's still not great. That's a 13 persuasion.
A 13. You see the two of them turn to each other and look back and say, we can work out the details later. We won't decide anything now. 60-40 doesn't sound off. We may be able to come to an agreement. We'll look at the details once we know how much. Once we see how much we can get them to invest. Excellent.
Of course.
We are going to head over to his manor post haste as we've set our appointment pretty soon. Is there anything the two of you need, or would you like to ride with us to Sootsmith?
Hopefully we get their name correct in the meeting. No, I think Lord Tiraval?
Yes, I have no other arrangements for today that I can remember. So, I'm ready.
Perfect. Excellent. We're going to mingle briefly with the crowd out here, and then we'll meet you at our carriage in, say, 20 minutes.
Perfect.
Excellent. It'll be out front. And they both give like a nod to both of you, and then exit the classroom.
I'll take his arm and start leading us back out. But in your head, you hear the boy was casting magic on our target ahead of time.
Really? What kind of magic?
I couldn't tell very well, but I believe they were just making him more malleable to be convinced.
Sorry, I meant, runic?
Oh. I believe it was divine, ascended.
Boy. Okay.
Also, this is a bit more boring than I thought it was going to be.
Agreed. I was hoping we were beating him up with clubs or something.
I thought it was more of a scam. But these people truly intend to create a mercenary school. We're barely lying.
Yes, but we're getting money out of this for doing nothing. Sure. We have to be not involved at this mercenary school.
How much is this money going to be a we situation? Don't you have plenty?
Don't you?
No.
Oh. Right. Yes, you keep taking mine. We'll call this 50-50 and us even on all of the dresses and herbs.
Those were gifts. Gifts from Lord Tiraval. You or your father. I don't care. I'm not picky.
We could do 50-50, and then I still just buy you dresses.
60-40.
Okay, fine.
Are you going to tell your father that we're not leaving with him and cutting the funeral early?
Oh, yes, I should probably do that. Where is he?
He's probably back out in the courtyard, where you guys were overlooking the plaza.
I will lead Sterling towards my father, who I've noticed in the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. You see Arthas standing rigid as ever, as one of the another like Viscount family is chatting with him. They're talking at him, and it looks like they're just talking to a wall. Like he is looking at the funeral procession, and they're like chatting to him, and there's not even acknowledging.
Father, if I may have a minute.
Yes.
Just wanted to let you know that I will not be returning to the manor with you in the carriage. I have a meeting with Lord Sootsmith and the Falkwain family. So I will be meeting with them. So no need to wait for us.
Make an insight check.
7 plus 1, 8.
His cold expression doesn't change as
That sounds right.
his head shifts to you as you say that, and he's going to say, I'll expect to see any dealings properly cataloged in the Tierval books. And then we'll just turn away.
Of course.
And then
I think he just gave us permission to spend his money.
And then he just goes right back to looking at the funeral.
Hey.
Yeah. Anything else you want to do in this courtyard?
I would like to find Lord Kimbridge if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just like give him some niceties, like I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yes, you as well, Miss Black. The Solastes put on an excellent event, and their celebrations are significantly more entertaining with a partner. It'll be a pleasure to show you a good time of Thalia, rather than the doom and gloom of funeral services.
Of course.
He'll reach out and kiss your hand before you go.
Then I'm good.
To the carriage.
To the carriage.
Make your way to the carriage where Sethin and Sal are waiting. And as the Falkwain carriage departs from the academy, we'll shift back over towards the Sophos Librum as Oriana, you watch the funeral procession move through the streets. You watch Thornstrum's coffin pass by the Sophos Librum as everybody is evacuated from the library temporarily, and another group of cloaks show up to assist making sure the library is safe from all the depraved. What is Oriana doing during this commotion? Are you going back in with the cloaks, or are you staying outside with the patrons of the library?
I would have helped getting everybody out of the library and keeping the patrons safe, and then once I've assured that everyone is out of the library, I'll stand outside with them.
Perfect. Cool. You stand outside with them as the cloaks go in. About 15 minutes after those cloaks go in, you see striding towards the Sophos Librum is Templar Cofford, wearing his full plate uniform, the extra vestments like the tabard and the cloak of the Ashen Order covering steel armor as he approaches. As he gets here, he greets the people outside, ensures everybody that everything will be taken care of, and the library and the knowledge inside shall be preserved. And then you see him move into the library. Not hastily. He's not going looking for a fight, but you see he goes, it's almost like he's on an errand. And he enters the library.
I will, I guess, leave the other cloaks that are out here with the patrons, making sure that they're not by themselves out here, making sure that they're still protected, or if they have any questions, answering questions. But when the Templar goes in, I guess I will follow in out of curiosity. And if he has any questions about what happened, since I was the first one to encounter the worm. And so I will go in and not necessarily be in his face about it, but be nearby in case he requests for me.
Gotcha. Yes, you enter in. As you are following the Templar, you see two cloaks bring out another wormling that they have killed, a separate one. They bring it out into the main lobby, and they're trying to use different cloths to wrap it up. That way they're not moving this depraved through the streets, but the acid is just burning through everything that they're trying to wrap it in. So they're just using just a ton of materials to patchwork these things up. Cofford strides past all that, and you watch. He finds Enforcer Roken, and turns to him and says, "Were you able to find the volumes I requested?" Roken nods and says, "Yes, I was able to acquire them." You see, he nods, and both of them move to go into a back room to have a private discussion. And as they go, you hear a clamor on the second floor, as it sounds like they may have found a third wormling. And the two of them look up, and then Cofford motions Roken to continue to follow him into a side room.
Interesting. I will peek up the stairs and kind of take a couple steps up to see did they indeed find a third one, because I will go help with that if they need help.
Yeah, it looks like that by the time that you come up and peek, 3 bookcases have fallen over and knocked together, and by the time that the commotion is heard by you, they've for the most part killed another one of these wormlings. You see one of them has a pretty bad acid burn on their arm, but aside from that, the 3 of them are able to just finish up killing one of these wormlings. Yeah. By the time that you peek around the corner and see them.
Okay, yeah, I'll make my way up the rest of the stairs and then move past them to the section where I was currently working and look through the stacks of books that I had pulled aside that were of interest for the Templar and see if there are any of the books that were pulled out that are missing, to see if Roken grabbed any of the volumes from my stacks, if I would notice which books he's taken, if any.
Interesting. Yeah. Make an investigation check, I think.
John, when you say wormling, these things were worm-shaped, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, WORMLING.
Okay.
16.
16. You look through the pile of books that you had collected. I think you would find on a 16. I'm gonna say you find one missing, and it has to do with the a catalog of a catalog of Moorish people, not really like specifically people in names. The book would be a discuss. We'll title it the catalog of Moorish people, but it would the intent of the book was to discuss like the difference between the Moors, which are all the people of the forest, and the ruling class of the Moors, which were pretty much like the witches, and how the witch covens how they ruled over the rest of the Moors and that like political structure. And you see what that book is no longer there.
Okay. Do you guys need any help moving these bodies out? Looks like you guys got it handled, though.
If you're offering, you see the one guy's like holding his arm. We need something to drag this guy down, and you see like as they're moving it, like it's just a line of acid that just like destroying the carpet.
Oh. I guess I will like rip off the rest of whatever's left of my cloak, even though I know it has a bunch of holes and it's torn through already, but I mean, it's still kind of a chunk of fabric that I could lend to them and try to help like get it underneath to help drag this body down the stairs.
Yeah, for sure. As you tear off and you go to like give him a hand dragging, make a quick dexterity saving throw. As this creature that they thought was dead gives like one like full body wriggle and snaps at whoever's closest to it. How'd you do?
17.
17. Yeah, you are cautious even before you approach. So as it moves and snaps at you, you are able to get out of the way before everyone like, whoa, and like jumps back from it. Immediately, like swords come back out and they're stabbing at it again. Acid going all over the carpet again, spraying onto the books.
Not the books.
Not the books. As they stab at the area.
Yeah, I'll help them take it down the stairs, and then as I'm back downstairs, can I just kind of linger near the door that they went through and see if I can hear any conversation?
Yeah, if you want to make a perception check.
18.
18. I think you just catch the very end of their conversation as you lean up to the door, and you hear Cofford say, "Good. By the end of the month, every one of them may serve as a protector of Thalia, unquestionably loyal to the Ashen Order." And then you hear footsteps approaching the door.
Yeah, I'll back up. Yeah, I'll just back away from the door and kind of go back to like assisting moving these things or helping position cloths and stuff. But still kind of nearby, that if they're still chatting when they come out the door that I can still catch anything, but
Gotcha.
doing my job.
Cool. You see they exit. They're no longer talking. Cofford has a knapsack of books that Broken has collected for him, that he holds as he departs the the library, kind of like inspecting the dead depraved as he leaves. And Roken goes back to organizing an effort to clear the library. And you can also tell that the amount of damage that's happening to the library is really stressing this man out. Like he knows that he's going to be in some, like, he doesn't have to pay for it, but he's going to have to deal with the amount of destruction that's happening here. And so as they're like just burning holes in the carpet, he's like, no, and like trying to stop them from causing more and more damage.
Yeah, I'm just going along with it at this point, helping, moving things, being a helpful hand.
Perfect. By the end of the hour, the action order concludes there are no more depraved in the library. Everything cleaned out. The patrons are allowed back into the vicinity.
If I can ask, where are we dumping these bodies?
In the river, of course.
Where are they going?
In the river. Roken instructs all of the bodies to be brought to they're going to be brought to Grimwatch, where the Grimwatch are going to inspect the bodies and try to learn as much as they can about the depraved. And you see, as the people come back in, Roken's both working with the librarians to discuss how repairs are going to be done to the library, but also you can tell that he's almost like borderline exaggerating how much damage and how dangerous these depraved are, and like not shying away from damage on, like, look how much damage these things did, almost to bolster the credibility of the Ashen Order. Like, this was an incredibly dangerous creature that we handled without anybody dying. And as he kind of plays those politics, unless there's anything else you would like to do, the rest of the books about the Moors are collected from the Sophos Librum and directed to Greywall Castle. And after about an hour or so, maybe 2 hours after that event, you guys are released for a couple hours before in the evening you'll have to go and do another spot.
Yes. So then on my lunch break, we'll call it, mm-hmm. I will take a carriage, and I think my next destination is going to be the hospital.
Perfect.
Morningside. I would like to head to Morningside.
Excellent. As you head to Morningside, we're going to jump across the city as the Falkwain carriage stops at the Sootsmith estate, and the four of you step out of the carriage. Renshor, do you think you've ever been to the Sootsmith estate before? Okay. It's a nice estate in Darlington. A little bit nicer than the Tyrvald estate, particularly because it's been here for significantly longer. Tyrvald Manor wasn't always a Viscount estate, and so this has been in Stoneworth's family for a very long time. But you're entered into Sootsmith's Manor, and as you're walking down the courtyard to the front door, Sethin is going to turn to you, Renshor, and say, one thing I did neglect to mention. This is not the first time I've tried to convince Sootsmith to invest in one of my projects. This is kind of a reoccurring activity of mine. So I'm going to have you pitch the investment to him, and then I will fully support anything that we do. Remember, the goal is to get his name on the academy and his investments.
Just so I know, how many have succeeded?
That's not important. This one is going to be spectacular. And he's going to pat you on the
Inside
back
check.
as... Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
19.
He's not like completely skunked in his activities. Like, he's definitely pulled this off before. He's
With this
definitely on Sootsmith. Nothing this big for Sootsmith.
Okay.
This is definitely his like biggest scheme. I think he's pulled things like this off before in other people. He's probably close to like 50-50 on a success rate lifetime.
Are the businesses successful?
The businesses make him money.
That's good enough.
As the two of you enter, right behind them, Sterling and Salar. Salar turns to you and says, I don't really care for much of the business talk. If you're up for it, while they are having their discussions, I think that we could be quite profitable by looking around the manor. And you see she's just kind of like eyeing up the upholstery.
What a fucking klepto.
I think that sounds great.
Excellent.
Much more exciting.
Much more exciting. The four of you are admitted into the house, and taken into the one of the studies of Sootsmith. Keep going, Sootsmith. And Taryn is there to greet you. You see he's gone through a bunch of his documents all laid out, trying to find the documents that you sent him about the academy. Obviously to no luck. And my sincerest apologies about the mess. My servants have not done a very good job at keeping the book straight. Everything. If you want it done right, you have to do it yourself. That's what I always say. Excellent. Have a seat. And as he motions for you to have a seat, Salor says, My lord, would it trouble you if I briefly departed? I simply am absolutely parched from the ceremony, the funeral. Would it trouble you if I went to the kitchen for a glass of water? Sootsmith is going to almost question it. Roll with disadvantage, so he fails. And he goes, Of course, Lady Falkwain. Yes, and he'll give directions to the kitchen. He goes, Thank you, my lord. And like takes a deep bow. And as she turns, she'll like offer her arm to you, Sterling, if you want to.
Yeah,
depart.
I'll take it. I'll like do a little
Perfect.
curtsy.
And the two of you separate from this business dealing. We'll start with Taryn and his conversation.
Good luck.
Thanks.
You see that Sethin takes his seat and like almost goes to sit in it, but then like still stands up and is floating around the office, like looking at little trinkets and making like flattery comments about different things in the room, flattery comments isn't the right word. He's trying to flatter Sootsmith, and moves around before saying, before we waste more of Lord Sootsmith's time, Renshor, would you like to make a pitch for the Academy?
Yes, of course. Lord Sootsmith, may I call you Taryn?
Of course.
Taryn, we are in a dire situation right now in the city. The depraved are running amok, and I don't know if you've noticed, but the Ashen Order just seems stretched thin, trying to prevent any kind of disaster. Now, I personally, and you may have heard, I had my own Ashen Order guard in my manor for a couple weeks ago. And that was fantastic. I've never felt safer. And a lot of people have started hiring their own mercenaries to keep in their manor, separate from their guards. The guards do a great job at securing the location, but the mercenaries are trained to kill depraves. However, and you may know this already, you are a very well-educated man, there are not many mercenaries in Thalia. So an idea I had, and I went to Sether with this, a couple weeks ago. We should create a school, a training academy for these mercenaries. We could build a building just outside the wall, would give them plenty of space to practice and train to identify the different depraved and their weaknesses. I mean, we could really grow up our own, I hesitate to say militia. And imagine what a lord like your cousin might pay for that kind of dedicated, trained protection. And he would know exactly who the people were trained by, how they were trained. We would have a very rigorous set of standards for our people that we accept into the academy. So, of course, you may be asking, why are we here? Obviously, we've had this idea for a couple weeks now. Obviously, between Sether and I, we are not lacking the funds to make this happen. Of course, a name such as yours, Sootsmith, would just, make the building sparkle. Could you imagine how many people would be like, yes, I have a Sootsmith mercenary? That would become a mark of note to have a Sootsmith mercenary at their doorstep, protecting them, protecting their family, protecting their women and their children. Everybody would want a Sootsmith mercenary. So we are here to ask for your funding for the building itself. That is all. You would help us fund the building construction, and then we would create the business. We would set the rigorous controls on the accepted. We would find people to train them, potentially from the Grimwatch themselves. I am personal friends with Yanis Gore. I'm sure we could find fantastic trainers to help these mercenaries become the very best. All we ask is for an initial investment to help us construct the building, and in turn, of course, your name emblazoned on the front. You would become one of the most well-known names in the city.
This is very well thought out, Lord Tierval. You see behind, now standing behind Taryn, is Sethin, who's going. And you can tell the gears are turning in Sootsmith's head. Sootsmith mercenaries really resonates with him. Like, his name being the talk amongst Thalia is really jiving with him. You see, he looks and goes, a few questions, if I may. You said the academy would be located outside of the city's walls? And then, he asked you that question.
Yes, of course. So, obviously, within the city, would be rather cramped. However, if you feel as though we could do it inside, that would be perfectly fine.
No, I think outside is significantly better.
Yes, and we agree. Obviously, we could put it towards the south or the east just a touch, so that we could get the expertise from the Grim Watch. But they wouldn't be in immediate danger should a raid occur.
Very intelligent. I appreciate your attention to detail with that. Do we have a proposed name for the academy?
I mean, of course, that would be up to you. However, an idea that we were kind of working towards would be something like Sootsmith Swords, which has a fantastic ring to it. I don't know if you have any ideas, or Sether, if you have any ideas what a name could be.
No. I think Sootsmith Sword sounds excellent. Sounds perfect. Yes, Sootsmith Sword. If that's what the main patron of the academy would like, and Sootsmith thinks about it and goes, Sootsmith Swords. The mercenaries of the Sootsmith Swords. That may rival the Ashen Order.
Now, perhaps we wouldn't like our militia to be emblazoned with an SS. That could be potentially hazardous. Perhaps, just now thinking of this, we could add a third S. As Sether is another large contributor to my idea, we could call it like Sether and Sootsmith's Swords, or we could absolutely workshop this in the future if this is something we decide to work towards. Obviously, today we don't need to work out those nitty-gritty details.
Yeah. Sethan's gonna go, yes, of course, if obviously the mercenaries would be branded as Sootsmith's mercenaries, but for the sake of the business, in order to enrich all of our purses, the academy should, maybe not the colloquial name for the academy, but its most official title should feature the Falkwain name and the Tyrval name as well, in order to promote that these viscounts are assisting in the protection of the city. Again, Sootsmith would be the primary, but maybe we could workshop in the other names as well.
That's actually a fantastic idea. The more notable names we have tied to this, the more notable, of course, it will feel to others.
Yes, to have not just the enlightened protecting the city, but also the pristine's personal force delivering justice in the city. That would in protection. That would be a good publicity for all of us. Do you have any plans for advertisement?
Yes, we have a couple plans laid out. I'm not sure if you were able to find the packet of information that we sent ahead. There were a couple outlines in there for some ideas. If you'd like, if you were unable to find it, I understand things get lost. That's perfectly fine. We can send you another copy as soon as we as soon as we return to our manor.
Yes, we'll get one sent over to you right away. And you see, it says, I appreciate your accommodation. Again, the Sootsmith is so busy with investments and dealings. If my servants aren't on top of things, it is up to me to ensure that things are kept running as smooth as they are. speaking a little bit into the numbers, how many apprentices are we expecting to take on? How many trainers are we looking at? How large of an academy are your ambitions?
The larger force we have, the more notable we will be. Currently, we have about 20 trainers on standby ready to do this school. Potentially, I have at least 100 individuals who would be... we potentially have 100 individuals who would be ready to sign on at a moment's notice. Of course, these individuals have not been put through the rigorous excuse me, through the rigorous rubric that we would be applying to all of our trainers.
Oh my god. You see, make a deception check.
For what? For which part?
for the giggling.
16.
16. Okay. You see, the Terran's like eyebrow kind of raises as like you and Sethin go back and forth with this little bit. Before Sethin, you're going to watch like almost like yellow and blue like sparks streak off his fingers as he's going to cast a quick spell on Terran, and then he sees.
Are we not in Darlington?
Oh, we would be in Darlington. You're 100% right. Yes, he cannot use magic. You're absolutely right. So
he
uses spell.
This guy lives outside of Darlington, but that means I can use magic if he can use magic.
No, you're 100% right. He goes to use it. It doesn't go through. He moves his fingers in a way, and then like you can see like kind of the horror wash over his face as Soot Smith goes, 100 trainers. You must have a good plot of land that you're expecting to build this academy on, to house 100 trainers and an appropriate amount of apprentices then.
Oh, mind you, we wouldn't be bringing on all 100 trainers. We had just ran an initial interest check. These trainers that we have on this list would need to be vetted thoroughly. Of course, we would not be expecting to hire so many. But it is good to know that if our numbers would reflect such a high interest, we do have available individuals potentially down the road. Growth of market.
Yes, good for expansion. That is very important when beginning a business venture as this. Well, this seems incredibly well thought out, and given the current times, I do not see how this is not a surefire way to attract attention. How much are you looking for in an investment? And you see Seth and
And see, this is the difficult part in placing a price on the protection of the city. I don't remember. Where's my page with the money? Of course, to hire a construction crew to work outside of the walls, they would need to be guarded during the construction process, which is expensive, of course, but worth it. As we've agreed, it should be outside of the city. We are currently looking, our current quote for construction is estimated to be around 50,000 marks.
And you see Seth and goes,
Of course, that could go higher. Our current quote does use some lesser materials. If you would be willing, a higher sum to contribute could allow us to create a better group of mercenaries.
Perfect. I'm gonna have you make a either persuasion or deception check, your choice, and you can roll with advantage by how well you're doing that.
That advantage gave me one more. Nice. Numbers.
Numbers.
22 good enough?
A 22. Yeah, that's excellent. You see Sootsmith, cousin of Stoneworth, looks down, and you see he pulls out a bank note, a treasury note, and begins to write on it. He says, "We may need to have that packet sent over to my estate with the finer details on construction and for the details of advertisement, so we can work out a title for the academy." And you see he summons in a worker for the Pigeon Post, and he is going to request from the treasury 110,000 marks to be brought out for the treasury as a potential maximum investment into Sootsmith's mercenaries. And you can see you've got him hook, line, and sinker. Sethin is through the roof, and he's going to, if you'll accept his offer to shake on it.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. You won't regret this choice. I will have my people send over that packet as well as a notes and further contract on our meeting today.
Excellent. I have unfortunately not done enough business with the Tierwald house, it seems. We'll have to continue. I look forward to more of your ideas, Renshor. This is superb. And he'll shake you and Sethin's hands. Sethin is like just beaming ear to ear, could not be happier. And as the deal is sealed, we are going to take a quick break before jumping over to the other half of the Falkwain scheme, which is maybe the more spicy side of things, as Salor and Sterling roam the manor of Terran Sootsmith. But we'll be right back for more City in Shadows after a quick break. Hello, I'm John, and welcome back to Insight Check. Our highborns have had some very eventful nights. We saw Sterling murder Viscount Thornstrum, revealing she is in fact a witch of Veremore Forest. I wasn't sure how Sterling was going to reveal her past, but the gruesome murder of the Viscount was perfect. We also watched Oriana clash with her superiors in the Ashen Order, a confrontation that was certainly unavoidable. We will have to wait and see if the Ashen Order decides to follow through on their threats and get her father involved after all. And finally, we followed Renshor as his dreams were plagued by something that now haunts Tierwald Manor. I'm very excited to see if he will come up with a solution in time, or this haunting will become too deadly too late. The last witch of the Veremore, the cursed daughter of a scion, and the haunted mage. Who could ask for a better party to tell a scary story? let's answer some questions from our storytellers. Our first question: how much did Sterling's little assassination affect your plans for the story? Will it ricochet into larger problems for the enemies or the highborns? Ooh, that's very fun. I think that the death of Viscount Thornstrum was something that I expected, maybe not so soon, but I was generally prepared for him maybe not to make it all the way to the end of the campaign. The thoroughness of his assassination I was not prepared for. Definitely throwing a wrench in both my plans as the storyteller, but also the adversaries in Dahlia. And I think the enemies are certainly going to need to change their plans and make some larger, more dangerous moves if they want to achieve their goals. But I think that only gets us a better story and will only put the highborns in a trickier and more dangerous place going forward. So I'm very excited about it. Second question: what led you to begin a ghost haunting on Renshor? Ooh. So the ghost haunting in general, or the haunting of Tyrval Manor or any manor, was part of my plans for the campaign even from the very beginning. So I knew I wanted to do something with that. But going into the second arc, we've kind of seen Renshor not seek out danger as the ladies have as much. And so I said now is a perfect time to have danger come to him. And so we've planted the seeds of a haunting in Tyrval Manor, and I'm so excited to see how Renshor and all who reside within Tyrval Manor deal with this. Last question: what's your favorite depraved that we've seen so far? Ooh, that's very fun. I think my favorite depraved, I really liked the Nothica named Nell by Renshor. I thought that was a very fun creature that grows in size over time and very like Jaws-like. Didn't get a lot of screen time, but was this looming and like horrifying creature because we didn't see it on screen. I think that was very fun. I think the Cavum so far are my favorite to actually play. They're based on the Dungeons and Dragons monster ghouls, but with quite a few tweaks to them to make them Aetherian and Vermore's own. And they're just so creepy and unnerving, and although they have really low hit points, they have such a high potential for damage, and they come in so many numbers. I think it's almost like a zombie apocalypse and like a forest monster mashup that just really creeps me out, and I love playing it. It's really fun. With that, I cannot divulge any more secrets as our scary story is still unfolding. Make sure you like and subscribe to stay up to date with our highborns as they only get deeper into the horrors that lurk in the City of Shadows. And we're back to the City of Shadows. In Sootsmith's Manor, the deal has been sealed by Renshor and Sethin, but while Renshor makes his pitch for the academy, Salar and Sterling, the two of you stride out of the room, making the first turn as Taryn had described, but immediately breaking away from the path to the kitchen as Salar just begins to kind of just wander the halls. And you see she looks around and she goes, "You know, my brother likes to come up with these schemes to make money. Far too much effort. What's significantly easier is having connections with the right people. And people will often pay a good mark for gossip around. So if you see anything that you think would stir up some gossip, let me know. Like I said, I know people."
I'll keep my eyes open.
Excellent. As she wanders, would you like to move? And you have a couple different places. You don't know how much time you have if you're going to be able to get to everywhere. But the options that you can move towards are another one of the studies in the house, the library, the drawing room, or the master bedroom.
I will go to the study.
The study. The two of you make your way down the halls. You see a couple of times Salar will stop and like investigate one of the like decorations on the wall and just kind of pick it up, look at it, admire it, and then continue to move on as she goes. As you make it to the study, you see there is a like grand like dark oak desk about and a bunch of like places for seating. The fireplace is lit. It's not blazing, but it's nice like low burn. And there's a huge portrait of Taryn and Mary on their wedding day. It takes up like floor to ceiling, the whole wall on one side of the room. It's massive. And as you enter into this room, where does your focus turn to?
I would like to look in the desk.
Yeah, for sure. You go and investigate the desk. I need you to roll a d6 for me.
Oh, okay. 5.
A 5. You search through the drawers of the desk, and you find two things. The first thing, I actually need you to roll again. I need you to roll a d4.
Oh. 4.
A 4. You find 4 Avon marks tucked in one of the drawers up. Yeah. Those are mine now.
Can I, if it's just 4 Avon marks, can I secretly pocket it?
Yeah. Yeah, make a sleight of hand check.
Oh, that was good. IKEA 20.
Ooh, you pocket it, and just as you do, you look up, and you see Salar, like, is going through his like one of the bookcases and flipping through some of the books, and is like, no. Ooh, this is a first edition, and like just puts it into her coat. It doesn't even notice you as you scoop those things up.
Perfect. I need to
As
write
you,
that down.
yeah, as you snag
Yeah,
those
$6.
those four Avon marks, you go to the desk. There's not really anything too interesting until you look in a drawer and see a letter stamped with the Watland crest. It has been opened already, but it's a letter from the Watland estate.
Can I scan it really quickly?
Absolutely. You scan through it. The Watlands have requested of the Sootsmiths. They're looking to acquire some artifacts from a location called Elligol. Elligol. And
G what?
Elligol.
Oh, thank you.
And they're asking for charcoal rubbings of the North Tower's mural, any book or scroll labeled katakuri or matakiri, and then anything that would have held sentimental value to the residents of Eligol. As you do this, make a history check.
Oh, great. -1.
-1. Yeah, Eligol does not ring a bell. Doesn't click.
Okay. Well,
Donna Eligol. You do, however, recognize Katakuri and Matakiri. These are not words in the Calorian language. These are Moorish words, and words you certainly recognize. They are essentially a little more specific, which is why they kind of surprise you. Big picture, they're the Moorish words for the depraved. Katakuri is a specific kind of depraved that are servants of Qatar. So not any depraved is Katakuri. Specific servants of Qatar are Katakuri. And then Matakri is a specific type of depraved that lives high up on the mountain peaks where the forest comes up and touches the mountain. Is a type of depraved that lives up on the mountains. And so looking for specific books or scrolls on those things.
Okay. And there's no letter that looks like it's being addressed back to the wildlands? In progress?
You make an investigation or perception check.
Great. Sorry, I rolled a 2.
No, you're good.
Perception or investigation?
Your choice.
Okay, 10.
10. I think you find the very beginning of a letter. It's to dirt
Yeah.
to the Watlands, but there no information has been written yet. So there's the intent to reply, but no information there.
Okay. If that's all I find, I'm going to ask, what's her name? Salarin?
Yeah, Salor.
Salor. Not much over here. Do you think there's time to check another room?
Of course. Sethan takes forever to do these dealings. He just likes to drown on about his propositions. Honestly, this is going to be the most financially helpful venture of the day, most likely. Come on.
How much do you think that book will sell for?
Oh, this one is a first edition, quite rare. A few onyx, most likely.
Delightful.
Yes.
A few onyx, that's crazy.
And then she's going to move out back into the halls. Would you like to head towards the bedroom, the drawing room, or the library?
If we're looking for gossip, I'd say check the bedroom. If we're looking for things to sell, the library.
Interesting. These sootsmiths seem like boring people. Let's start with the library. And she'll move towards the library. As you enter Terran's library, you see that there are a couple servants about, and Sally goes, "Oh, pardon us. We're here to fetch a book for our lord. Don't mind us." And the servant just nods, and she gives you a wink as she moves about the room. For this check, yes. What's up?
Salar gives a wink, or the servant?
Salar winks at you.
Okay. Who's like, the servants are in on it?
The servants are like, you can steal whatever you want. No. Cool. So for this check, first roll a d6 to see what you find. And then if you want to take it, it's going to be a stealth or a sleight of hand no matter what. How'd you do?
6.
A 6. You walk through the library and you come across a open display case where there are a couple really ornate swords and axes on these pillowcases, and you see one of them has a dagger on it, easily that could be concealed in a coat pocket or within your dress. It is beautifully made and has Valdorian gilding on it of the capital of Calador, made originally for the guards of the queen herself. And you see Sootsmith has a collection of these weapons. He has a sword, an axe. He has a full halberd. He has 2 or 3 of these knives, and then a full suit of armor in here, all on display. But you see this very beautiful dagger. If you would like to try to pocket it, it will be a sleight of hand or a stealth check.
My issue is if this is on display, they're definitely gonna notice if it goes missing.
That's when you blame servants.
Let's grab it.
Grab it? Sweet. Make a your stealth or sleight of hand check.
Yes, I had rolled it already, which I don't know. Do you want me to roll it again? You told me that I was going to have to roll it, and so I rolled it, but that didn't inform my decision. Because I got a 19.
A 19. Cool. The servants rolled high, but just as they come by to look at you, make sure that you're finding everything fine. Just as they turn, you pocket that dagger, and one of those is yours. You can add the Royal Valdorian dagger to your sheet. It also comes with an ability, which I'll send on Discord to you. And it is not a magical dagger, but it's so well made that it has special properties.
Slay.
Cool.
Before we leave,
Yes.
I would like to just take a cursory glance to see if they have any Moorish material.
Oh,
in here.
yeah.
If I would know, what some of, the hitters are, you know what I mean? So that way I can kind
100%.
of, alphabetize, know what area I'm looking in.
Yeah, absolutely. Make an investigation check.
Ooh, that was good. 17.
17. You go through, and on a 17, you look through the library and go through a couple different sections where you would categorize Moorish stuff to be, and you don't find any. Sootsmith does not look like he's read up on anything Moorish. Almost criminally underread. Like there's nothing, especially even for like just geographically, the place just north of you. He has nothing on the forest, nothing on the moors.
Racist bastard. Let's go.
On with that investigation, you do find, as you're kind of going through, you see Salar walks past you, and like flashes a letter to you, and like slips it over to you when the servants aren't looking, and moves past. And as you take it and flip it over, you see you have a handwritten letter from Count Stoneworth to Sootsmith, to Taryn, discussing how disappointed Stoneworth is in Thornstrom's death, as Thornstrom was one of the Count's best customers.
Yeah.
He doesn't really say anything more than that.
I should have brought up that at my sales pitch.
We knew they were interacting from the gala.
Yeah.
Interesting. As we are like exiting this room, if the servant's like still around, I'm just gonna say to Salar and just be like, I cannot place that book anywhere. I guess the Lord doesn't have it. A shame.
Yes, a shame. Well, I'll have to send it over from the Falkwain estate. Get it here promptly.
Of course.
Yes. And then she'll take your arm and lead you out. And as you move down the halls, you see, you peek back into the study where they're having the interaction. And you peek in just as they are shaking hands and sealing the deal. And Sally goes, perfect timing, and slips back into the office. It looks like you had quite a successful meeting. I apologize. My sense of direction is so poor. I got Miss Black and myself lost on the way to the kitchen. We were able to find it, and your staff is truly too accommodating, Lord Sootsmith. Of course, there's no problem at all.
We're glad you men could handle this. Also intelligent and handsome.
Yes, well, you are staying with an excellent Viscount family, Miss Black, the heir to the Tyrval Viscountship, has an excellent eye for business. I'm sure that plenty of marks will be coming to the estate shortly. And he'll smile at both of you. Is there anything else you guys would like to bring up to Sootsmith before the Falkwains take their exit?
No.
Perfect. All the pleasantries are exchanged, and you and the Falkwains depart the manor. Sethin turns to Salar and says, Salar, 110 onyx. He's gonna pull 110 onyx marks for us. We're set. We can actually build the academy. This is gonna be excellent. We're in business.
What a wonderful partnership this will be.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And Renshor, your services could not have been understated. I now have to go home and write up this packet for our patron, but I will be sure to send you a copy, and I'll get a contract written up for all of us. We're going to be the proud owners of Sootsmith swords. And he's gonna turn and like give his sister a big hug before getting into the carriage and shake Renshor's hand. Can we give you where would you like to be brought? We brought you on quite this adventure. The least we can do is one final carriage ride for the day.
Renshor?
My lord.
I have, I don't know. I wish
Is
to
there anything
retire.
you want to do for the day?
No, I don't think so. I wish to retire to my manor.
Of course. To Tierval Manor, he tells the coach. And the Falkwain carriage turns in the street and moves back towards Nightingale Avenue to drop off the new, almost proud owners, once the contract is written, to the Mercenary Academy. As yes.
we exit, I want to just be like, well, this was certainly fun. Let me know if you need any help, Salar, with those books and the selling.
Of course. If you would like to if you would like to come along and meet some my contacts in the city, I'll probably be going sometime this week. I can write you a letter if you're willing to come along.
That would be splendid.
Excellent. That'll be a fun afternoon. I haven't had a partner to go out with since, and she kind of like glances over at Sethin. Some people are simply too greedy to do business, so it would be good to have a good business partner. And they will take you back to Tierval Manor. As that carriage heads over to the manor, we shift across the city to Oriana. As you arrive to Morningside, you probably arrived around the same time that they were arriving initially to Sootsmith's. Mm-hmm. You arrive to the hospital, to Morningside. What is Oriana looking to do?
I'm looking to find someone to acquire some items for the Ashen Order. Who can I speak with about acquiring some things?
Yes, we have a counter for that, and they move you over, and you see that they have a section that this counter does dealings with the Ashen Order. There's no money being exchanged. They're just marking down what the Ashen Order is taking, and are pretty much going to like bill it to the Enlightened for services. And so you come to the counter, and the gentleman there goes, "What can we provide the Ashen Order with?"
Hi, I am looking for a case of healing elixirs, like 6 or 8, whatever standard comes in a set.
Yes, healing elixirs. Yes, we can provide some the holy water vials for you, of course. Blessed. Yes. Mm-hmm. And you see they shift around, and they're going to bring a crate. Would you like this shipped to the barracks or directly to your enforcer?
Oh, I have a carriage out front. I can take it myself.
Oh, okay. And then you see they mark you down for a case. A case is 12 bottles, and so they hand over 12.
Okay. And one more thing. I am looking for a box of like syringes and vials. I can also take this with me in my carriage.
Yes. Yes. Hold on a minute. Syringes. Yes. Syringes and vials. And you see they turn. One moment, please. They kind of go back into the hospital, and about like 5 minutes later, come back with like a leather case of a set of 3 syringes, and then they have like a small like alchemy set that has a couple like a handful of vials in it. Will these do for what you're asking?
Yes, the syringes are fine. Do you have any more vials?
More vials. Yes, I can find some more. How many vials are you looking for?
Do you have 3 more of these?
I should be able to find 3 more. Please, 1 minute. Goes in the back, and they're able to produce 3 more vials.
Okay. Thank you
yes.
so much.
Of course.
How much would this normally cost? I can pay for it here instead of billing it directly to the Ashen Order. We could just take care of it.
Oh, I simply must mark it down, and for the purpose, and then it will be billed to the order. No problem. And
okay.
You see they mark down the case, the vials, and the syringes, and they say, I simply just for my forms, I must ask, what are the healing elixirs for? What is their purpose?
There was a small little attack today to help heal some of the cloaks that were injured at the Sopham's Librum. And I kind of look down at my own uniform that is completely torn apart and burned up a little bit and singed.
Yes, and then what are the vials and syringes for?
For the same reason, for the taking care of the cloaks that were injured today.
Okay, all medical for cloak protection of... Okay, yes, we'll mark that down. Can I have a name, please?
Arjuna.
Arjuna. Is that the first or family name?
First.
Okay, and then family name?
Karish.
Karish. K or C?
Okay.
Okay, Karish. Karish Arjuna, excellent. Thank you so much. We'll get this sent to the Enlightened.
Well, no. I will be taking it with me in my carriage. We need them right away.
Yes, of course. You can take these. We're going to the bill to the Enlightened. Yes.
Oh, yes. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I will...
thank you for your protection.
Yep, and take all of the equipment and take it back out to the carriage I have waiting outside.
Deal. Yep. And you get all that stuff.
Awesome. That's all I would like to do here at Brighthold.
Okay.
Depending
perfect.
on time, I'm either going to drop this stuff off somewhere or get back to work so that I don't get caught missing my shift or bailing out again.
Gotcha.
Get called out.
Yeah, no, you have a little more time before you have to be at the next bookstore or spot where you'll be collecting more books.
Yeah, so then I will just drop them off at my room at the Guiding Flame and then go back to work.
Perfect. Back to work, you hit a couple more bookshops, with the Ashen Order to collect these books for the day before you're let off for the evening. As the day progresses, Renshor and Sterling, is there anything you guys would like to do before evening sets in?
I think just like in the drawing room or wherever we are. So, about last night, I have been considering your dilemma. I believe... Well, you insinuated that it might be a person who entered the manor last night. I don't believe that a person would have brought you know, the servant to such acts.
Okay.
Well, I believe you're being haunted.
By like a ghost?
Not that, yes, sort of. Last night, well, you didn't seem to understand what I was saying. And I know that this city keeps a lot of things under wrap. But back in House Moss, we heard of a village neighbor who dealt with some unseemly problems. The further north you are, the older the land tends to be and the more, well, problematic things of such nature can arrive. Obviously, you know, with the many things that plague Thalia. So, I believe that, from what you told me, it could be a specter, a poltergeist, a moonwraith, or a phantom. And those are all types of ghost, per se.
Oh, wow, you're like serious about this. There's a what do you call it? A moon rock attacking?
Wraith.
Oh, attacking us?
Do you not believe this?
I didn't.
You live in a city plagued by monsters. There is a ghastly creature living in your crypts. And you often cast magic from a rock.
Yes.
But a ghost is too far fetched.
You see, here is the difference there. Depraved, I can see. Spindle Maiden, I can see. This rock, I can see. I mean, even when I do the magic, half of it is visible.
Sure, but you've never seen someone go invisible?
But that...
Things exist in realms and areas of influence other than what we can directly see. I'm surprised your education hasn't taught you such.
I don't have much of an education in this aspect.
Well, then perhaps I didn't miss much, not being able to attend School Spire. Anyways, from what you told me last night, there seemed to be a... It seemed to be a frostbitten... Oh, wait, fuck!
Oh no.
That's my notes on Oriana's dream! I was like,
oh, no.
I have written down frostbitten skinny creature, and I was like, that's gonna clear it down to 2 right away.
Yeah. Oh.
I literally saw this before starting filming, and I was like, oh shit, we're down to 2. That was the wrong person. I was looking in the wrong spot of my notes. Okay.
Oh.
Well,
shit.
we seem to be at square one in deducing which of these 4 apparitions is messing with you.
Why must we know what it is? Can't we just get rid of it?
Well, there's different ways to kill it, and again, if you cannot see it, and it's in your head, messing with your mind...
Did you say that out loud or in his head?
No, the messing with your mind goes straight into his head.
Oh, that's brutal.
So, It doesn't seem to be affecting me, so if you'd like to just let it go.
I didn't say let it go. I merely said just get rid of it.
Sure. And this is how I plan to do so. Unless
Okay.
you have another.
No, this is fine.
means.
What do you need from me?
Well, I don't know because I thought I had a clue. I will look at this.
Okay.
And we shall come up with a plan for tonight. If there is an attack to be held, well, you and I are quite powerless at the moment.
Well, we were talking of going to an inn or something outside of Darlington.
Yes, and if we can do so discreetly.
We could try.
I have a date tomorrow. I can't be seen sneaking off to an inn with you tonight.
Of course.
I was thinking,
Yes.
perhaps you phone a friend to assist us?
Who would that be?
The
Someone we know who doesn't use magic?
You're talking about Oriana?
The cloak?
Oh,
Yes.
okay. What can she do?
Hit things a lot better than I.
Oh, okay. So invite her to stay the night?
Be easier for her to sneak in here than us to rent a hotel.
Okay. I will write her a letter. I can't promise that she'll agree, but...
Well, at least, if not for tonight, assuming you survive the night, for tomorrow night. It's not attacking me, so you prioritize this however you'd like.
Okay.
I will do more research. And I'm going to go to my room, and Aubrey will read more of the stuff on the pages of my Book of Shadows that John sent me. I also, before I forget, for the 100th episode, would like to take a look at after his funeral. Maybe read what's left of Viscount Thornstrom's research.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, you pull out Thornstrom's notes. This is everything that Sterling grabbed right before lighting his library on fire. I think it kind of dawns on you for a moment that between the fire in his workshop and the fire in his house, this is some of maybe the last writings of Thornstrom that exist in the world, right? Everything else pretty much got engulfed in flames. Maybe there's a couple little notes that he wrote to other people, or maybe some stuff in his house that didn't get burned, but the vast majority of his studies are all ash.
Splendid.
You look at the notes that you grabbed, and mostly there's just fragments of a couple different stuff. But here are the three main topics that you see his notes cover. The first, he was studying a concept called Aether. Athir. Aether. It is in his works, you can kind of see that it's defined. It's a old Etherean word that's defined as like complete or whole or total. It's also in some of his notes, you can see him comparing it to like the idea of like below, center, above, or like earth, body, sky, like the idea of like totality. And as you get into his notes, you can see that as he looks at like defining this word and looks at the concept of this word, Aether in his sense is referring to how magic, despite being so vast, is in fact constant and singular. And despite being harnessed through many different methods, a spell, the magic of the spell, is constant. So, for example, if you were going to cast a spell like Pass Without a Trace, you could cast that through runic magic, like Renshor does. But it could also be cast etherically, or divinely, archaically, or divinely, and you would still get the same result, although the method is different. And it's this idea that a pure form of magic can be wielded by casting with all three forms of magic simultaneously. And make an Arcana check as you're going through this.
16.
16. I think in Sterling, in your life, I think you've kind of heard of this, maybe not the word Aether, but this concept of combining different methods of magic together to be more powerful. I think when you see the idea of multiple forms of magic, I think your mind would go to two places. It would either go to the idea of like ley lines, of being like a pure font of magic, or it would go to the Nox. And you're not really sure why it connects with the Nox, but you remember that there's some kind of tie between the Nox and this idea of pure magic, regardless of form. Another section of his notes is the study of some very powerful artifacts. You see he has notes with conjecture on the location of the 5 swords of the Lost Knights. You can see that his studies have him to believe that one of these swords is somewhere in the catacombs, and that one of them is somewhere north of Redcliffe, which is one of the towns of Blacksbane. He also has notes on the Axe of Cinderfall. All of these notes are notes done by an archaeologist by the name of Resbin von Fair. And his notes report on von Fair's expedition to a Moorish city in the mountains, or a Moorish town in the mountains called Eligol, which, shockingly, you just read about today. And you see...
that's what that is.
Oh, yes. It is a group of ruins that's a few thousand feet below Moorwatch. Moorwatch being a Blacksbane town up in the mountains, and then just south of there is the ruins of Eligol. And then you also find, as part of this section of notes, a drawing of this ancient gnarled tree as part of Von Fair's notes. You see a quick excerpt on the staff of Dromos, but his only conclusion is that the staff of Dromos has been long lost at sea and would be near impossible to find. And then the final thing that you see is Viscount Thornstrum has a couple notes on the study of runic magic, particularly enchantment runes.
Okay.
And that's all the notes from him.
I think I don't know if scissors exist.
Scissors definitely. Yeah, scissors exist. While you do your thing with scissors, I am going to Google how old scissors are.
Shears or something like that. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah. They gotta have scissors.
Two daggers riveted together has to exist.
Victorian era scissors.
They have a printing press. They gotta have scissors.
I would like to just kind of like cut up the notes into the sections that I find particularly interesting or appealing, and using a sap that I have in my reticule, my bag.
Yes. Yeah.
I would like to just kind of like slowly paste them into my Book of Shadows.
Oh, yeah.
And just add to this book as I collect knowledge. I leave out things like the 5 Swords of Lost Knights, the Staff of Dromos. I keep the notes, but I don't tarnish my Book of Shadows with such basic things.
I'll if you want to veto this decision, you're more than welcome to. It's your Book of Shadows. But I almost imagine as you take your sap and you press these pieces into the pages, the book almost absorbs the sap and absorbs these snippings into the page. And by the time you're done, it's as if they were written directly onto the paper. Like the book accepts this knowledge.
Yeah, like very like Mortal Instruments coded.
Yeah.
Where like I could later then like draw it back out.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so these are become part of the book, and you imbue the book with that knowledge. Fun fact: ancient Mesopotamia definitely had scissors. We've had scissors forever. Perfect. Yeah,
like, I'm just picturing like the plastic, like teal blue ones that I have at my house, and I'm like, we don't have this.
We don't have those.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Craft.
No,
I got
100%.
8 in craft. I own scissors.
I got scissors. Perfect. Yeah, you compile that knowledge, put it into the book, and then I think Sterling starts studying up on some ghosts.
Yeah, Aubrey's got to read this again too.
Yeah. As you begin to study the ghosts, Renshor and Oriana, anything you guys would like to do as the sun gets low on the horizon and the shadow of the Gallatin Mountains and the Iron Peaks creeps over the city?
I send out 2 letters, but
Okay.
that is it.
Deal.
Is one to Oriana?
Yes, it is.
That's actually information the table needs.
That's important. We need that. Who's the second letter to, if I may
Chimet.
ask? Ooh. 1 to Chimet and 1 to Oriana. Perfect. Do you want to share your letter with Chimet above board, or do you want to just send that to me?
I'll send that to you.
I love it. Perfect. Chimet will receive a letter.
Do you believe Oriana still likes me? Yes or no?
Check yes or no.
Has she said anything nice about me lately? Did she think I looked hot while actively accidentally killing her at the Temple of Amira?
P.S. I heard she was kissing other people. Have you heard of her kissing other people? Because I want to know. P.S. 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 My house might be haunted. End of letter. Perfect. Oriana, as your shift from work ends and you are let off for the day, whenever you return to your abode in Brighthold Barracks, your room, there'll be a letter waiting for you.
Well, before I go back to Brighthold Barracks, and after my shift at work is over, and I'm done doing what I'm obligated to do for them, I do want to head back to the Guiding Flame, to my old room, to go collect those items that I had dropped off earlier.
Yes.
I go back to my old room, and I think immediately being in this room instantly makes me very sad, thinking about all of the time that I've lost not being here, the people that I've lost, and the life that I was preparing for that I've lost. And I definitely let that deafening white noise just like sink into my head. And just kind of, and just embrace that sadness and just let myself feel it here in my old room. And then I take the case of healing potions and I want to like stuff it in my closet and tuck it under some like old robes and old things and keep it kind of hidden away in here. And then I go back to grab the box of syringes and I get a glimpse of an old sketch laying on my dresser of Renshor and I, one from Eleanor. And I just really let that sadness sit in for a moment. And then I let that sadness turn into spite, and a little bit of anger simmers up.
Okay.
And I go to grab the box of syringes, and I take one out, and I take a vial out, and I tie a cloth around my arm, and I plunge the vial into my vein and draw out a full vial's worth of blood. Yeah. And then I will neatly cork it and put the vial back into the box and push that box back into the closet next to the other. And then I will change out of my disgusting Ashen Order uniform and also just kind of toss that into the closet as well. Put on some of my other clothes for going out, donning a black cloak for the night. And then I lock my door before leaving my room at the Guiding Flame. And if a letter doesn't approach me here, if it went to the barracks, my plan is to go to the Waxing Wain next. Ooh. And so if I've been here all night, I know the couriers, they have that magic that tells them where people are.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it does in fact come to you. I think that as you're leaving the academy,
because I'm not planning to go to the barracks for the night, so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think the letter would find you. That's the whole point of the pigeon post.
Yes. So then I have the key in one hand and Renshor's letter in the other. And I will pocket the key and open his letter.
Wow, she read his letter. Renshor, what does this letter say?
Oriana, prepare for a weird letter. I am currently being haunted by what some may call a ghost. There are specific kinds. I do not remember them upon writing this letter. I am requesting your assistance in dealing with this. It does haunt me in the middle of the night, so I would need you to be here during the night in the event that it would manifest and attack. I understand this is uncomfortable and awkward, but a quarters would be set up for you within the manor without my father knowing to help. Sterling seems concerned that I may die. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay. Amazing.
A firm handshake from Renshor to close that letter out. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yes. I will make sure that I have from my room. I do want to take with me my sword from my uniform and my belt of assortment of things on me. Even though I'm not wearing my full uniform, I still want my items on me. But I will put my hood up and make my way then to Tyrval Manor instead of the Waxing Wane like I had originally planned.
Sorry.
Perfect.
It's okay.
It's
more fun this way.
As you head into Darlington, crossing the river, the chants of the cloaks still floating through the air, still dampening the magic in Darlington. The sun is set, the lanterns of the city are lit, and as night falls again on the City of Shadows, we are going to end tonight's session and pick up next time with another wonderful evening in the Tyrval Manor for more haunts and spooks. So make sure you like and subscribe to see where Renshor and Oriana and Sterling are, what they're able to come up with as they hunt ghosts throughout Tyrval Manor, and then move on to the long-anticipated celebration of the Celesti Priest.
Oh, right, that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow night.
I told you I have a date tomorrow.
You guys got a busy. You have 2 dates this week. You have dates in the evening with Joshua. You're gonna have a date sometime with Salor doing some business dealings. You're just talking to everybody. Sterling's doing a good job. But like I said, make sure you like and subscribe because there is much more to come in the City of Shadows. But until we meet again over another round at the Four Rings Inn.